Tonight we pick up again with our second session of What Really Happened, a solo journaling game where we're writing a letter correcting the lies in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. We are playing the character of Duncan Potter, a trans man, and Harry Potter's brother who was written out of the story. So we're exploring that character and going through the book and making corrections to the many, many lies in this book. So we're going to go ahead and roll up a correction now. So I'm rolling my D20 and my D4. We get a 15 and a 1. So the 15, it simply means I was on page 20. Now I need to go to page 35. Okay. And the 1 we can find on this table here. The 1 means you were also present, but left out of the story. Okay, so 35, the scene here is after the letter incident where all the letters have flown into the home and Uncle Vernon has driven us out into the middle of nowhere. And so this is basically when they first arrive at the cabin out on the rock. So that's where we are. And my role is also present, but left out of the story. And I think this time I'm also going to roll on just some inspiration for what else might be going on here. On the D6, we've got a 5, untangle. On the D8, we've got a 1, formidable. And on the D10, we've got a 9, query. Untangle, formidable, query. So I think there was some kind of a question asked that is being answered through this scene. I don't know why it would be this scene, but I think perhaps, I've known, as long as I can remember, I've known that I am male, but I think that in this scene somehow is the moment in which it becomes clear to me that I can and should and will live a life in accord with who I really am. And so I think perhaps because this is the scene where it is revealed in some other way in my life what I really am, which is a wizard, I think that's an invitation to me to choose for myself what I am. So here's what I have now. The letters changed everything. There were some addressed to my brother, as you describe in the book, but there were also some addressed to another. They were not addressed to a Miss H. Potter in the same manner that my brothers were addressed to Mr. H. Potter. They were addressed to a Mr. D. Potter. This was before I had spoken my true name aloud. But somehow, Dumbledore knew. I had been calling myself Duncan in my head for several years already at that point. So when Uncle Vernon absconded with us to that isolated and decrepit cabin on the rocky island, and Hagrid came to collect my brother and I, it was a realization that I was more than I had been told. Sure, I was a wizard. I could wield a wand and cast charms. But even more fundamentally, that was the night that I cast aside the false identity that had been hoisted upon me and took up the identity of who I had long known myself to be. Duncan Potter, son of James and Lily, brother to Harry. Okay, so now let's roll for another correction. We got 11 and 2, so I need to go to 46. And my roll is they replaced you with another character that wasn't actually there. Interesting. All right, so what's going on in this scene? So here, Hagrid is telling the story of the night that you-know-who killed Harry and my parents. And he's specifically talking about how Harry got his lightning scar. And so this is wild. This is a fundamental shift to the story. Because remember, they replaced you with another character that wasn't actually there. I think perhaps it's actually me, Duncan Potter, who has the lightning scar, who survived a direct Avada Kedavra incantation from you-know-who. That is shocking. What a fundamental lie in this book Okay, so here's what I've come up with. That was also the night that Hagrid first told Harry and I the story of how our parents died and how I got my lightning scar. Yes, I, not Harry, bear the distinctive mark of the night that Voldemort killed my parents. A point that has befuddled many over the years who have met my brother since the publication of your books. Many have refused to believe he's not an imposter when they cannot find that famous mark. It was such a problem that Harry has taken to wearing hairstyles that would cover the mark, if it were present, simply to avoid dealing with the question. Why change such a seemingly small detail? It underscores the lengths which you've gone to remove me from the storyline. All right, so that's 2 more scenes. We've done 4 corrections. So that is where we are so far in what really happened. Our letter to the Scholastic Publishing Company and to J.K. Rowling, setting the record straight and putting myself, Duncan Potter, back into the story where I belong. I hope you're enjoying so far, and in the next episode, we'll continue to explore the story of Duncan Potter. See you next time.